Continuing with netball on the SportsMax zone, President of the Antigua Barbuda Netball Association, Karen Joseph, has been busy over recent days hustling to raise funds to support the team's trip to Kingston for next month's World Cup qualifiers. To date, only 25% of the funds needed for the Kingston trip have been secured. Joseph says several times in the past, officials of the association have had to use their personal funds to help purchase uniforms along with first aid and technical equipment. She joins us on the zone today. Karen, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. Talk to me about the fundraising efforts, Karen, because not too long now before you have to board a plane to Jamaica. How has the funds collection been going?
We have some obstacles, as I had mentioned last week on Observer Radio, but this week looks very hopeful and promising. I know I serve a big God, so I'm not worried. I trust him to work things out, and he's seen us through.
Yeah, that story said you were at 25%. A week on, are you still there? Have you moved on? Where are you now?
We have moved on to about 50%.
Right, and how much money are you trying to collect?
It's about 120,000.
US dollars?
No, EC
dollars. Beg your pardon. Okay, 120,000 EC, and you're about 50% of that. In terms of your communication, your correspondence then with corporate Antigua and Barbuda, is that where you're getting the good responses from?
Yes, we are. I must say thanks to a lot of the sponsors that have been coming on board. We have, as I said, Kes Imports. We have Stingray City. Andrew Wholesale came on board yesterday. And we have some, we're just trying to reach out to the public. And we have some promises coming on the end of this week. So I'm hopeful that we will get there.
Karen, people don't realize that. I mean, they hear you talking about you're trying to marshal the funds to get the team to Jamaica. So, of course, travel and accommodation and the related expenses. But they don't know that it also takes a lot to prepare properly. How has the lack of funds hampered preparations for the Kingston trip?
In preparation in terms of girls, it's been overwhelming because as I said earlier, we have a coach from England that is doing, and her daughter, coach and assistant coach, that is doing an awesome job with the girls. And what I told the girls, not to worry about the part where the funds are concerned, just to play, train hard, and I got the rest of it. So I just want the girls, and they know that I'm going to do my best to get them there. So I just want them to train as they're doing. They're training 5 days a week. They have days when they go to the gym, on court, and at the beach, and I must say the fitness level of the girls is very high, and I must compliment the coach and assistant coach from England who's doing an awesome job with the girls.
Yeah, Lisa Smith is your English coach that has now joined the team in recent months. Is that her name, Karen?
Lisa Smith and her daughter, Lauren.
Okay, so how many months has she been working with the team? She joined this summer, didn't she?
2 months ago, and she's going to stay with the team. Sorry?
Yes, she joined the team this summer, didn't she? Earlier in the summer?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And yes, early this summer, yes, she did.
Karen, you are a former player for Antigua and Barbuda, weren't you? Team captain as well?
Yes, for many years, in my young days.
How difficult is administration? Because, you've gone through the process and you understand the sport, having been a player and an outstanding one as well. How stressful has been administration of netball? Because I talked to various netball presidents throughout the region, and fundraising, and trying to get support for the sport seems to be a real problem.
It is. In the days when I used to play, I think netball was more, because netball was stagnant in Antigua for about 10 years. I'm trying to get it back on track, and that's where the issue is. And then COVID hit, and many business spaces are having financial issues as well. And that is why it's a challenge. The girls have been raising funds since early this year. They have done the association was on board with us for a couple fundraisers, which we are thankful for. And we did a seafood fest with a cousin of mine who did a seafood activity. And And I must say that those fundraisers helped us to along the way as well. But I'm saying things are really tougher this time, I guess, because of COVID and stuff. But I know the challenges that we're having because I've been there for netball. And being the main female sport in Antigua, I just want the public to support the female because football and cricket get a lot of support regionally, internationally, but netball being a not so international sport, and which we're getting there. And I hope by the time we get there, things will be better for netball especially in the OECS and the Caribbean.
Yeah, talking about the OECS, Karen, in the OECS ECB tournament that you had in Dominica, I think it was back in February, Antigua and Barbuda finished third behind the champion St. Vincent and the Grenadines and runners-up St. Lucia. How valuable a preparation was that experience?
It was very valuable. As a matter of fact, that was our stepping stone to say exactly where we are and where we need to go in terms of preparing for Jamaica. For me, I would have loved for us to have more like tri-series to play against other teams, but financial-wise, we have issues with that. Because initially, when I was at the Commonwealth game, and I made contact with Dominica's president and trying to get Antigua to go to Dominica. But as I mentioned to you, finance is the issue. But we're doing our utmost best. We're having practice matches with our male team that just came back from St. Vincent, and that's a big plus for us. So that aspect of competition, while we're working on that part of it.
All right, Karen, really great talking to you here on the SportsMax Zone. We are ready to embrace the entire Caribbean netball fraternity in Jamaica here for the America's Netball World Qualifiers. We wish you the best in finishing up your fundraising efforts and that you will land in Jamaica fit and ready for competition.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Karen Joseph there, George, a pretty outstanding player in her playing days, but as netball administrators are finding in the Caribbean, especially as she referenced just now, the COVID pandemic set them back even more, and they were already behind the 8 ball, most of these netball bodies.
You notice I didn't ask her how much money she got from the government. Most times in an interview like this, that's it's almost like a lazy question, yeah. the journalist asks. So what is the government doing for you? It is a lazy question because it's trite. If you are aware of the situation in countries where things like education and health have to be buttressed by state funds because of the difficulties that governments have experienced in recent time, you'd know that a sport like netball doesn't rank high on the list of areas that are automatic magnets for funds. And even in the popular sports like cricket and football, you have levels in the cricket and football pyramid that there are not enough funds.
Yes.
Yeah, and even at the top level, there are still not enough funds there. So I'm happy to see that she is taking steps to help herself by going to corporate Antigua and Barbuda, which she says which she's saying that they've responded very positive, and based on the trajectory, she ought to be able to raise the 120,000 EC needed to get Antigua here and in good order to give off their best.
Yeah, and just for clarity, that 120,000 EC, I think, is probably about 45,000 US. Yeah. In that region, so that is the ballpark that they're looking at. She said they're past the 50% mark in getting the funds budget in place, and I think they'll be okay. Looking forward to seeing them in Jamaica, August. That's October 16 to 22 at the America's Netball World Qualifiers for Cape Town in South Africa. We have more to come on the SportsMax Zone after this.